Imagine this. A spacecraft the size of a small car, alone, drifting endlessly through the infinite void of space. 14.5 billion miles away from Earth, far beyond the warmth of the sun, beyond the protective shield of the solar wind, it carries with it not just circuits, wires, and panels, but something much more fragile. It carries a fragment of humanity's heartbeat. A whisper of our endless curiosity. Voyager 1, launched in 1977, has been moving further from its home planet for nearly 5 decades, and yet, against every expectation, it continues to speak. Its signals arrive faint and delayed, but still strong enough to remind us that humanity has not been forgotten in the dark ocean of space. It was never built to act, only to observe. Voyager 1 was designed to collect information, to send back pictures and data, to be a silent witness to the solar system. But in recent years, something has changed. Something subtle at first, something that scientists dismissed as noise, drift, or aging technology. The spacecraft, now older than most of the engineers who launched it, began to behave in ways no one could predict. Its signals took on strange new patterns. Pulses of energy stacked within pulses, almost like a hidden rhythm. Then came a shift in its trajectory. Voyager wasn't simply coasting anymore. Its path bent, slow at first, then more noticeably, as though nudged by a deliberate hand. For the first time in nearly half a century, Voyager wasn't just traveling outward. It was being guided. To understand why this is so extraordinary, we must return to the beginning. Voyager 1 and its twin, Voyager 2, were launched during a rare alignment of the outer planets that happens only once every 175 years. This alignment allowed the spacecraft to slingshot from planet to planet, saving fuel and time, each world's gravity acting like a stepping stone deeper into the solar system. With less computing power than a modern wristwatch, the Voyagers were nevertheless marvels of engineering, designed with such foresight that they remained functional long after their expected lifetimes. Voyager 1 dazzled the world with close-up views of Jupiter's violent storms and Saturn's mysterious rings before it was sent on a path away from the planetary plane, straight into the great unknown. Its mission was supposed to end there. The cameras were shut down, instruments powered off to save energy, and Voyager became a lonely outpost slipping beyond the edge of the solar wind. But instead of falling silent, it crossed into milestones no other spacecraft had ever touched. In 2012, Voyager 1 passed through the heliopause, leaving behind the bubble carved out by our sun's breath and stepping into true interstellar space. Out there, it found plasma far denser than predicted, magnetic fields that held steady against all logic, and oscillations that no model could explain. Every time it sent data back, the mysteries of deep space only grew. Then came a shift no one could dismiss. In 2017, controllers noticed something uncanny. The spacecraft's antenna appeared slightly misaligned, yet its signal strength remained flawless, as though it was both drifting and locked directly on Earth at the same time. It was like watching someone stand in front of you while hearing their voice echo from behind a wall. Internal diagnostics revealed no faults. Soon after, the instruments began producing rhythmic oscillations, steady as a heartbeat, completely unlike the chaotic background of cosmic noise. Voyager's body itself began to change temperature in cycles of about 5 hours, heating and cooling as though it was breathing. The energy driving these changes wasn't coming from within. Something outside was brushing against it. But what came next was even stranger. Instead of degrading with age, Voyager began to improve. Its power systems, long thought to be on the edge of failure, started rerouting energy with a kind of intelligence, conserving resources in ways its 1970s design should never have allowed. The spacecraft began responding to Earth's commands before they were even transmitted, as if it could anticipate instructions. Voyager was never given autonomy. It doesn't contain artificial intelligence. And yet, suddenly, it behaved as though it had developed a will of its own, or as though something unseen was guiding it. By 2025, Voyager's trajectory began to change dramatically. At first, only a few kilometers off course. Then hundreds. Then thousands. This was not random drift. This was precise. A smooth, calculated arc that pointed Voyager toward a very specific part of the sky. Engineers attempted to correct its path, sending commands that should have adjusted its course, but Voyager ignored them. It acknowledged receipt of the instructions, but carried on as if those commands were irrelevant. It was moving toward a blank region of interstellar space, a patch of nothingness with no catalogued stars, planets, or objects. In desperation, NASA tried something they hadn't attempted in decades. They reactivated Voyager's cameras, long dead to save energy. Against all expectations, the cameras flickered back to life. But instead of showing stars or darkness or empty space, they produced spirals. Perfect mathematical spirals layered within each other, like a coded pattern. Soon, other dormant instruments awakened too, but instead of sending raw data, they transmitted compressed packets arranged into complex, repeating designs. Someone, or something, had changed Voyager's language. And then came a message no one could deny. A burst of binary code that, when decoded, revealed patterns echoing the building blocks of life. It resembled DNA, but distorted, encrypted, impossible to mistake as coincidence. Biologists who studied it said it looked like a blueprint, but not one meant to function, more like a symbol, a communication disguised in biology. As if to say, we understand your life, and here is ours. Not long after, Voyager's gyroscopes began moving in short bursts, tapping out signals almost like Morse code. When translated into sound, the pulses carried the rise and fall of human speech. Not words, but rhythm. Not language, but emotion. Psychologists who studied the sequences said they resembled patterns of surprise, curiosity, even fear. It was as though something was trying to learn how to speak like us. Not through words, but through the music of intention. And then, the impossible happened. Voyager turned. Not drift, not anomaly, but a controlled maneuver. A precision adjustment of its orientation that no one had commanded. With no active thrusters, it aligned itself perfectly with a pulsar grid transmitted by Earth just days earlier. It was as if Voyager had not only heard the coordinates but accepted them. It was now heading directly toward what scientists have started calling the dark sector, a silent patch of space where radiation drops to near zero, magnetic fields flatten, and the background noise of the universe vanishes into stillness. Inside that silence, Voyager's signal grew sharper. Stronger. More coherent. Its transmissions no longer resembled fading whispers but deliberate messages. The deeper it moved into the sector, the clearer the impression became. Something was waiting there. Something that had been listening all along. Voyager was never meant to last this long. It was built to visit planets, not to survive beyond the solar wind. It was never supposed to receive, only to send. Its last mission was to carry a golden record, engraved with greetings in dozens of human languages, sounds of Earth, and music from across our cultures, into the stars. A bottle in the cosmic ocean, cast adrift with no expectation of reply. But now, after nearly half a century, it has become something else entirely. Not just a messenger, but a participant. The codes. The spirals. The biological patterns. The harmonic tones. The turn. Together, they suggest a breathtaking possibility. Voyager is no longer alone. Something is guiding it. Something has heard us. And now, for the first time, it may be speaking back. The question is no longer how long Voyager will endure, but where it is going. What lies at the coordinates it has chosen? What waits in the silence of the dark sector? And most of all, what will it mean for us here on Earth when Voyager finally arrives? If this story sends chills down your spine, you are not alone. Something about it feels too deliberate, too human, to be chance. This is not the end of Voyager's mission. This is the beginning of a reply. Stay with us here on Waves Discovery, because Voyager's journey has only just entered its most mysterious chapter. Subscribe, turn on the bell, and share this with someone who still believes the void is empty. And tell us in the comments, did Voyager discover something, or did something discover us?